Interesting Tuesday. Everything and everything I'm going to explain boils down to this formula of creation, pioneering, bringing about anything into existence, whether like imaginative or manifesting it tangibly. Basically, that's what it is. Input, process, output. It boils down to those three. Take it as a formula of just, yeah, basically it's a formula. So oftentimes as a believer, when watching things that like maybe it's if it's of horror or there's just imagery that's not of everyday kind of scenery, if you watch those kind of things, usually you'd hear like some Christians, I don't know, like I've never taken really it seriously, but I think I'm coming to understand it from a different angle. They'd be like, you can't watch anything, some things you are welcoming demonic presences into yourself and whatnot. Guys, it's to some degree it's true to some degree, but I'll explain from what angle I get it from. Like, who, guys, we are creative beings. We are like really potent with bringing about things to earth. So with that said, yo, like there's so much, I had to really structure this thing, but there's so much that's just flooding my way to express, and I don't really know how to put it, but it would make so much sense. Like now, from what I've understood, we have like as a person, you have to guard the gates of this body, this creative, potent, manufacturing being that we are. Like I was watching something, like it's like a man sitting on a couch, né? And then at the same time, there's this wallpaper slash, you know, photoshopped water. Like I was just watching these like different images, like people express things, like obviously they are communicating what they're communicating, but that's to show that something is just okay, fine. As I said, the man is sitting on the couch, wallpaper of water. It's either it's water at times just flowing, or it's water and there's like fishes inside. Just this weird imagery is like you get earth and then you get something gigantic walking past by, those kind of things. And it seems like innocent. Like, what could be wrong with that? That's what I thought. I mean, it's just watching what you see, and that is it. Actually, not. Okay, I'll explain the different types of interactions. First of all, when you are as a person, a human being, normal, you're not connected to any spiritual side of yours. You meet someone, you meet them for what they are. You just meet them. You might just comment on maybe a different outfit they're wearing or the scent they have on themselves. It's quite different. That is it. Then you get almost another level. You kind of connected, but you almost not sure. You haven't fine tuned like any kind of spiritual gift, but it's you're starting to tap into it somehow. You've tapped into something. So you would meet a person and you'd get certain feelings or feel a certain way, but you wouldn't understand. So it's just things, different frequencies, different energies passing through you, but you can feel certain things, but you haven't fine tuned anything. Maybe you'd meet someone and would maybe notice that today maybe they're not as talkative. Could there be something wrong? Exactly. Input, process, output, right? You meet the person, you see them, you process what you process, and then whatever outcome or feedback you'd have on them, something like that. Now, let's say for those who are a little bit tuned into their spirituality, you meet someone, and all of a sudden, maybe you have like from a previous incident or what, however kind of connection or bond you formed with them, you can tell them you dreamt about them, so on and so forth. And then you get those who are deep, like really connected to their spirituality, and they can pick up if you're not fine. They can pick up the frequencies of maybe how you feel without you telling them, just by being around them. These that just your energy fields can just give off a lot. They can almost think the same thought and be on the same thought frequency as you, see the same things or say something you're about to say. When you've really come to be acquainted or really close to someone. That's how far it goes, right? Fine. Or how long you've been around them. Fine. It's the same thing. Like when you look at these images that are would consider demonic, ne? Like when you take them in, they go into your imagination, or you bring life to these kind of things. I don't know how to put it, but you bring life to these kind of images, right? And just like the other day I explained, we are part of Earth. So if we can make experiences from just what we see and it broadens our perspective, whether good or bad, it forms part of our imaginative world. And whatever we imagine, somehow to some degree, it's real. So we haven't understood or tapped into certain frequencies of what happens really to a human being when they're normal. Maybe when the body decomposes, whatever you have archived comes to life, but it just doesn't have a body. Just the same way that it shows on earth how we function, right? Like women get like pregnant and then they give birth the same way with the mind. Maybe when the person is no more, whatever they've archived, it's roaming around, it exists, but it hasn't found a body. Scary, right? True. We're creating all the time. We are like very creative beings on levels that we cannot even fathom. We are creating realities all the time, and it's very important to channel. Somehow you have to like learn, either look for seminars or whatever the case may be, of just training the mind to really focus. I can see it now, like it makes so much sense. And just like I was explaining the other day, picture planet Earth as the pan, and the stove itself as as the sun, and the lid as the moon. So if we had the blood moons again, I'll go back to them. If they are in line and we are Earth's body, and Earth somehow creates the ability to reproduce, right? Now, what is like the DNA of the sun, or what is the sun known for? And the moon and Earth in combination to Earth. Again, I was speaking the other day about how it's just come to the end of the age and people are renewing. They're renewing confidence and whatnot. And what if that was like a meeting? You could view it from different angles, but what if that it's part of Earth like recharging? Because if you think about the sun, it provides the radiation and whatnot. The sun is recharging in this case. The moon is made of what? Rocks and metal. So I read or I saw. And so it's almost like when we speak about things are hard right now, things are heated, things are on. This is basically what's happening right now. And although there's the good side of it, obviously when you put a phone like into its charging cable, there are benefits. You are getting the battery filled. That's your desire, right? But you must consider that there's an electrical currency or flow that is happening. So part of those frictions or the flow of something so heated, it's a electrical kind of heat. Do you understand? That's why things are so heated on Earth. And at the same time, you can think when there's heat, there's a whole lot of evaporation that might be happening. Like we're just encountering so much things with water right now. So you understand, it's like everything is just interconnected, but you just have to sit down and really connect everything for everything to make sense. So right now on Earth, so many things are just under this heat slash light energy. Like light is also on another, it's beaming on another frequency, right? So many things are just there's so much depending. Like it's, imagine if like the sun was just, it's coming to just be like the stove, cook what's there. What if it's just come to amplify, to reveal or amplify or reveal what's just there? So imagine if Like people are just behaving weird. And maybe could it be that this is part of like the evolving process? I mean, we're gonna see strange things, right? Like things that are just strange happening, and people are you, we don't understand what monsters we're creating out of us as humans, like different human beings right now. Others is beautiful things, others it's amplifying what they are. If it's light, it's light. If it's of darkness, it's of darkness. It's kind of like amped, you know. And if already human beings, even in their creativity, can come to a point where they just take in two con- contradicting kind of images of normal everyday life, and they could just picture them and put them together, it shows that some other human beings are already creating monsters. Like, and like I said throughout about the whole ages, that we have become what the ages were. So in other words, maybe the dinosaur or a typical dinosaur will not manifest now, but it might be a person some people might be walking around as those dinosaurs like right now, but maybe to be rebirthed once they leave Earth, and that image is born anew and only to find body Lord knows when and how. Yes, it's crazy, but it's so true. Like we are creating we're creating all sorts of things. Like this pressure, it's gotten to us so so much that people are almost becoming things that are just beyond, and that's part of canceling the sin. So again, I imagine if planet Earth, besides the sun and the moon, it had to merge with other planets, and other planets obviously they are made of certain, they carry certain DNA, their makeup is a certain set of DNA, right? So now Earth, imagine if Earth was supposed to just be with the sun, and then now the sun feels like it's cheated on it, and then it goes to the moon, and it's almost like that sin, like sin isn't like going out of order type of thing. It goes and likes Venus or Mercury, and then the next minute, when things align, planets align, new realities as a result exist. I mean, this is the kind of thoughts we should start having, because we just never know what's happening out there. And if we could be experiencing certain things down here and these certain pressures, that means whatever is happening down here, it's somehow it's a reflection of what's happening up there. So anything could align anything in any way, and it could create new and formulate new structures of DNA, and might manifest. We don't know how the speed of things work out there. It could, within a blink of an eye, I mean, it could go there. So it's crazy what how potent we are with just bringing about realities of things that are just absolutely totally mind-boggling and out of this world. So if this made sense in any way, what would, like, the whole aim boil down to? God, what you think about. And we can't control it oftentimes. If you get something that happens so impulsively, that just causes an irrit or an irritation, and sometimes you just get fumed with certain anger, a certain level of anger that we might not even understand, and it just creates all sorts of violent realities in our heads, and we don't understand what monsters we're creating or making out of it. Because if Earth is aligned with the moon and with with the sun, and we're thinking anger, and you always think, I wish I could just this person. Do you understand? You probably like busy breathing life into a monster that might like gain a body someday and just live, or you might even live or might end up actually creating monsters that you might end up having to battle someday on the very planet Earth that you're on. That is actually a very calculative reality from what I've come to understand. So all these things we imagine, we can actually bring about. That's how powerful we are. I've come to hear all different quotes about how powerful we are, and we as human beings, and we overlook it, but we are really powerful. And it's in understanding and these kind of levels of knowledge being unlocked when things are broken down, that you are that powerful creatively. You that this powerful powerhouse of potent with so much life that you could create either a heaven for yourself or a literal hell. Scary, right? But true. I don't mean to blow my own horn, even though, it's only by the grace that I could understand such things or tap into it's one thing experiencing something and you just move on from it. It's another being able to grasp the moment and grasp the lesson. This is a wealth of information for the near future. This is like the information of informations, you know, and you're really privileged to be knowing this. Some people will just be getting confirmations depending on what you've been pondering on. So this could be like that information that someday someone will be like, that was once said. I once saw that. It was kind of a deja vu kind of of an experience, whatnot. But anyway, a lovely evening further till tomorrow. And hence why human beings, if themselves, the behavior, it cannot be fully expressed through themselves as a human being. They usually, like the near future, you just see artificial intelligence, this kind of transforming robotic machines of things will be created. The giants in us, those will be manifested in that kind of way. It's not something I'm just being creative at. It's like really making sense if you come to think of it. All those kind of gigantic AI, artificial intelligence, it's part of it. So it will manifest, and people will really bring about such giants if they're frustrated to fight off certain things that they feel like are just pressuring them a bit too much. Yeah, kind of scary, right? So basically, in summation, just making it very concise and kind of brief if I can. Basically, the archives of every experience, thought experience, imaginative or real encounters that have formed part of that imagination are basically archived and become an inheritance that Earth might receive and birth, whether in your absence or presence. So just you being alive, being a cell, part of the body of planet Earth, you are basically busy creating, recreating, unless you cast away, you cancel, and all those kind of things, those imaginary thoughts and whatnot. But otherwise, it's an inheritance that the Earth might live to see with your presence, absence, whatever the case is.